Hi everyone, it's Keto Rules again, and today I would like to make a little discussion about a specific topic that I'm sure a lot of people always keep bringing up, and that is remakes, video game remakes. Now, if we all have realized there's quite a few remakes coming out in 2011, and maybe some even next year, we just don't know what they are, but for now in 2011 and even some of them last year, there have been quite a few remakes that have been released. New old games that have been re-released on new consoles, whether it's by retail or digitally in an online store. Now, in many ways, this is a good thing because it's for people who don't have these games on their original systems can now play it on new systems that they actually do own. And they can also buy them in special collections, where they merge like quite a few games into one package, or anything such as, a remastered version, a game that is, graphically improved or includes new content. Now, a lot of people are enjoying these remakes because they could never access them. Like, if we look at this year, a lot of people were very impressed at E3 when they announced and will eventually get, the PSP, the God of War games that were on the PSP, like the Sparta one, and there was another one, I can't remember the names. But, when they announced it on the PS3, everyone was so psyched about it. And what else? I don't know if any of you remembered my review of Super Mario All-Stars for the Wii. That was technically a remake, or more of a port, I don't know how you call it. But it was pretty much, Super Mario All-Stars for the Super Nintendo, released on the Wii in retail form on a disc. I think they came in limited bundles, so I don't know if you can really get them now very easily anymore. But otherwise, yeah, there's plenty of other remakes. I'm sure you've heard of these kind of remakes. This is Star Fox 64 3D, and this is Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time 3D. They are both from the N64, so, if you've never owned those consoles or don't like emulating and you want to graphically improved and having a bit more content, then these are great games to have. They're for the 3DS. There's also this Super Street Fighter 4 3D. It's just Super Street Fighter 4 from the console versions ported, and having it's a bit downgraded in frame rate and visuals, not too much, but just enough to be noticeable. And there's also some Street Pass options that you can use to collect figurines and play people without even having the game inserted. You just got to pass other people while you have your Wi-Fi light on, and you'll be able to just verse them. So yeah, with these remakes, they can also be done in many different versions. They could also be remade in such a way that there's not really much noticeable differences. Some people might even consider remakes as almost equivalent to ports, and this is probably so, especially when games don't really get changed that much. I mean, if we look at how many times Ocarina of Time got remade, we can actually see that it got remade for the GameCube, then it got remade for the Wii, and then it got ported to the Wii, and then they got remade for the 3DS. The GameCube version, the only real difference was they changed the buttons, and I think they changed something with the shield, because apparently you're not allowed to have the crescent symbol because that represents the Muslim faith, so they weren't allowed that to avoid controversy. So yes, and if anyone knows about Wave Race 64 and Punch Out, they actually had to remove some brand name and replace it with a current brand name, or change the dialogue so that it doesn't have any copyright issues because the company's defunct, or something happened and they can no longer have the same naming or whatever. Now, going back to remakes, there's been plenty of remakes that have been released on the PlayStation and the Xbox 360. There's been things like Resident Evil 4 HD. There's been Sonic Adventure for the GameCube, also being released on Sonic Adventure DX, that was being released on the Xbox Live and PlayStation Network as well. And it was also part of the Dreamcast collection, and I'm sure a lot of you really liked the Dreamcast collection, how very inspiring it was. All it had was Sonic Adventure DX, Sonic Riders, Space Channel 5, and I think it had, I actually cannot remember the other one. Oh yeah, Sega Bass Fishing. And those games were already released on the another console. Like, it's a bit redundant, and not many people really like those games. They only really want Sonic Adventure and Space Channel, and that's really it. There wasn't really anything special about it. But anyway, so what is the problem, you might be asking? 6 minutes in. The only problem I really have is people who complain. Why do people complain about them? Because they've already played them? I mean, just because you've already played them doesn't allow you to bash other people for playing them. I mean, not everyone is like you, and I'm talking to the other person who complains. Not everyone is like you, who likes rebuying everything from the original version. And look at the costs. It costs more to get the original version than it is to actually buy a new version most of the time, because if you don't have the original console, then overall it will be more expensive, wouldn't it? Granted, if you already have the console, then it wouldn't be. I mean, you can buy like Ocarina of Time for the N64 for $30, while the 3DS version might cost $40 or odd dollars, but only if you've got the N64 would it be worth it. But I'm just saying, what if you don't have the console? What if you don't want to go back to those old consoles? What if you don't want to use those controllers? What if you want to keep it simple and have space in your room? What if you don't want the old systems to break, even though, it really depends. I'm just saying, not everyone can actually afford these things. Now, someone like me, I'm pretty humble. I can probably afford, most of this stuff, but I still don't really have a real intent to buy all the old consoles. I don't even know if I want to get a Dreamcast or a Sega Saturn, because I'm not that interested. As long as I've got the games, then I'm fine. I mean, I've got Sonic Adventure DX and Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, which I don't understand why people hate those games, despite them being released on the GameCube. I don't know why people hate them, because, to be honest with you, I've got nothing against them. I think they play just fine. I don't know what people are complaining about. They look exactly, the way they should, and it's not like they play poorly at all. They've actually played pretty well. Now, granted, I have Sonic Adventure DX on the PC, but that's not the point. It still plays very nicely. I can't think of really anything else to say other than, just think about, what the point of remakes are. They're designed for new consumers. They're not really designed for people who already play them, okay? Just be very careful. Now, remember, every time I do that, it's just to check the time. I haven't really got I haven't got very good vision when it comes to small writing, and I check the time. Anyway, just remember, there's more. It's not about you all the time. It's about new consumers as well. So maybe companies want to give new consumers a shot at some of the old games. Remember, that's the whole point of these remakes, to provide people a chance to have a look at the game in a new way, and to also, attract new consumers with old games. It's not necessarily meant to be for people who already played the games. Unless you really like the games and you want to buy them again, and you can't be bothered getting out your old consoles just for them. I can understand. But please, please respect those who buy remakes. They only want to do it so they can play the games just on the new console that they can have in their room or can afford without the need to, waste too much space or, spend more money on another console. Just remember that. Anyways, until next time, I bid you adieu.